This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
We are talking about video games. Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I am Kevin, joined by Patrick, the man who actually makes all this work. I just research, sit here and talk. He's the guy that, like, if everything goes right, it's because he did it and not me. But we're here to talk about video games. Not a whole lot of news this week, but we do have one particularly large topic. Two people from the Guild Wars 2 team were fired because of their interaction with fans and the backlash on Reddit and in Reddit forums. And we're going to talk about that, what that means, how these things should be handled, stuff like that. But we're going to put all that at the end of the show. Right now, we're just talking about the news that came out this week. And we're starting...
with Assassin's Creed Liberations, which I didn't play because this was a mobile game.
Well, it started off on Vita. It was a Vita exclusive initially.
Okay, that makes sense then. Because I was like, I don't even remember this.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but it does make sense. I love the Assassin's Creed games, but totally missed this one. So cool that it's now backwards compatible, so now we can enjoy it without having to turn on an old console or a handheld that we don't want to play.
Exactly. I think it got ported to PS3 or PS4. I don't remember for sure, but I thought it was kind of cool because it came out around the same time as what's the pirate one?
Black Flag.
Black Flag, yeah. So it has kind of a similar setting to that, and like she deals with some of the slavery issues and things like that, and so. And it has a female protagonist. This was before, because like now they have like Evie and they have the twins, so you can pick to play a guy or a girl. You alternate between them, but this one had a female protagonist. I think that's cool. We also got Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter.
Yes.
Not a regular warfighter, but an advanced warfighter.
Yeah, because if you're gonna fight a war, you want to be advanced.
Right.
Didn't play this one either. I like Tom Clancy games. I appreciate them. I like Splinter Cell games more than the others personally. But again, great for archival. I mean, what Xbox is doing, and that's the reason that we talk about this every single week. What Xbox is doing in regards to backwards compatibility and in regards to future compatibility is remarkable, because Phil Spencer mentioned anything that we're putting out now, future generations are going to be able to play. We're fixing the backwards compatible. They're essentially making sure they don't have to do this again, is what they're doing.
Well, and on top of that, they're doing games preservation, which particularly with arcade games is always a challenge. Just trying to get everything working exactly the way it used to, and so we really appreciate what they're doing on this. So
heck yeah.
Good on you, Xbox.
Heck yeah. And I thought I had... Oh, yeah, I do. Next up, we actually have a release date for Shenmue, which... or the remaster, I should say, of Shenmue 1 and 2. Still nothing on Shenmue 3, which... I think will come out after Final Fantasy VII, the Final Fantasy VII remake. That's my prediction.
That would see. I like that particular bet because they were announced at the same conference and have vanished ever since, and really should have been out by now.
I think that the Final Fantasy Square team, especially, they've been very transparent in saying, hey, the people who are working on Final Fantasy VII, the Final Fantasy VII remake, are also working on Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yep.
So now that that's going to be out, they can go full force into the new one. It wasn't the whole team, but key players have were working in regards to the development in Kingdom Hearts 3. I still say it'll be out by the end of next year.
There's also one other particular development that is of interest to me, and I think that that could affect the development of both games. I was looking at the numbers. Because that's the kind of guy I am. I was looking at the sales numbers for Lost Sphere, which was the second game put out by Tokyo RPG Factory.
Okay.
They put out I Am Setsuna first, which was pretty well received and sold pretty well. Lost Sphere sold less than half the copies that I Am Setsuna did. So that was kind of an experimental little studio. I find it entirely likely that they will start pulling talent from there to put onto these bigger projects. It's obviously a very different system, but these were talented developers, talented coders, programmers, all that kind of stuff. And so I think that they'll probably pull from there and hopefully get things ramped up a little bit as far as those two projects go.
Totally could see that happening. Two very similar parallels for development, but we'll see what happens on that. Another thing I'm looking forward to seeing what happens on is the lawsuit between Bethesda and WB Studios. And we talked about this last week, and Bethesda essentially said, hey, the Westworld game is Fallout Shelter. It even has some of our bugs in it.
Yeah, it was actually the same. There was a company, I can't remember their names. The same company that did that helped Bethesda Studios with that actually moved to Westworld, and so there's two separate lawsuits here, and this is the clarification from last week.
Yeah.
But they're actually improving, or they're taking the code from there and they're moving it to the other one. So they're suing them for theft of property, and then they're suing suing WB for encouraging and profiting from that. And WB said, we never told them to do that. We just told them to make a game, to make a Westworld game. This is not on us.
Now, the statement that I was reading in here, I thought was from WB. Let me just double check this. There was a statement in here that literally says, where is it? This is the hold on, that's Bethesda's lawsuit. They're quoting, but they don't say who it is. Oh, Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers responded. Not that company, but Warner Brothers responded. And I'm going to paraphrase this, but they essentially say this is a frivolous lawsuit, and we didn't none of the code was used in the game. Yeah. So if the company that Warner Brothers contracted to make the game then use that game, Warner Brothers not only is guilty of publishing a game with that code, but they're also with this, that would be considered libel. So
interesting.
So essentially, like that in court will make it even worse when it comes to if they find out, oh, the source code that you were using in this version of the game, and this company did use their old code in this game with the in this other game, which they're not allowed to do. Code is not protected like artwork is, but it's similar. Where if you make a product for this person and they've contracted for exclusivity, you can't then resell it over here.
Right, you can't take your work with you when you go. Whatever you make under the umbrella of this company is owned by the company that hired you.
And that includes, in this case, that includes if a company hires a company to do something. Now, where did you say the other company was from, though? Did you say?
I don't recall. It's in the article. I've actually.
Okay. I won't get in a tangent on that. If it's international, this is gonna be really interesting. I believe it may be. But either way, I've played a little bit of. I saw a little bit of the playthrough. I didn't play it, but I saw a little bit of the playthrough of Westworld. It's pretty much Fallout Shelter. In regards to the build, and the gameplay is not exact, but it's Fallout Shelter. So they're gonna lose that.
Yep.
I'll kind of tee this one up for you because you and I played a game quite a little while ago, The Swindle.
Yes.
And absolutely loved it. And
excellent game.
Yeah, and they have a new game. Developers has a new game that's coming out, which you actually were messaging them about to try to get some information on.
Yeah, I was talking with him about what's coming next for him and his studio, because he made Behold the Kickmen, and this is I was talking with Dan, and he said, I'm not ready to announce anything yet, but soon. Soon something will be coming out. And so I was like, okay, well, can you just tell us what platforms it's coming on? And he said it's coming to everything eventually, but probably Steam first. So he plans to develop for Steam first, and then he said the main other platform that he would like to be on is the Switch. And so I told him that we are looking forward to it coming out on the Switch, and we hope to see it there.
That is the place to be publishing an indie game right now.
Very much so.
PC, unfortunately, with the way Steam works, and honestly, even looking at the PS4 marketplace, there's a lot of junk, and if you're filtering through all that, trying to find a good game, it's kind of hard. Nintendo is cultivating to an extent what's put on their platform. Yeah. So I think that's a great idea.
And there's been a lot of indie success, like Hollow Knight sold pretty well on Steam, and then within the first 2 weeks on Switch, sold 250,000 copies. Yeah, like it's a very profitable place to go to. And so I was telling Dan Marshall that, yes, please bring it over here, and we will buy the heck out of it.
Yes.
And on that note, a game that we reviewed, or I guess that I reviewed a little while ago, is also coming to the Switch, Cosmic Star Heroine, and we will be having an interview with that developer coming up in a couple of weeks. And I personally am really excited about that. This will be my first big interview, and so I'm excited. I talked to him a lot on Twitter, and he agreed to an interview. He lives in Taiwan, so the time differential will be a little tough, but I get to interview him.
It's gonna be awesome. Yeah. We'll and should have video of that as well. We're gonna work on that, make sure everything's set up correctly, and yeah, we'll let you know, I guess, when it happens.
Yep. So Ghost of Tsushima is a game that we don't know a whole lot about yet, but Chris Zimmerman of Sucker Punch gave us a little bit more insight into the approach that they're trying to take with the game. Yeah. He said that we want it to be fun, we want it to be authentic in some ways, but we are going to be careful about how we do authenticity, because in these kind of duels between samurai, I mean, it's first swipe, somebody dies. I mean, you see it on camera in that last shot. It's just, that's how these duels went, but that's not nearly as much fun in a video game. So there will be a lot more tension to it than that. And so, but he said that there's going to be a lot about the time and the place, and honestly, this game just looks gorgeous.
It really does.
And
it's my second favorite upcoming samurai game.
Right? and that's so much fun to say, because if I find it very unlikely that I will get samurai'd out from Sekiro to Nioh 2 to Ghost of Tsushima. Like, all of these games I'm looking forward to, and they are different games.
They are,
and I'm looking forward to that. But he said that for people who are very knowledgeable about that about that time in history, or about that section of Japan, it's going to be really fun to watch and see how that plays out.
That's really great. I mean, I love that, trying to stick at least within some guidelines of authenticity, I think, is great. Like you said, if it's going to be exact, it may not be as entertaining. Similarly, I would say a similar note, because the samurai went up to I don't know if you knew this. Well, samurai went up to the 1890s, 1870s.
Yeah.
So 1880s, somewhere around there. So essentially, cowboys were around at the same time as samurai.
Yeah. But we never get to see samurai versus cowboys except in Westworld.
Except in Westworld. But cowboys, they didn't have smoke. What is it called? The smokeless powder back then. So about the shootout at the OK Corral.
Yeah.
So when that actually happened, after a couple shots, no one could see anything, and no one talks about that. So you have the most famous battles. If it's in a smaller place, or if you have a couple shots go off somewhere, that area is full of smoke. It's not, like ammunition is now. So if you had that happen in a Western movie, that may not be as entertaining unless you, I don't know, it's just not as entertaining. Like you said, samurai, it's a very quick, it's a very calculated move, and then whoever did it and calculated correctly usually was the winner. And they didn't move quite as quickly as we want them to do. Anyways, I'm excited about that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm excited about it. I know it's authentic, but I'm still more excited about Shadows Die Twice, but we'll see. It's a good time to be.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. Actually, this is third on my list of samurai games, because Nioh was incredible, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes next. Yeah. But the fact that we're getting a sequel and 2 new properties.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
It's pretty amazing.
And yeah. And speaking of new things, the Binding of Isaac creator, Edmund McMillan, actually launched the Kickstarter. Did I talk about this last week?
You did. You
okay.
did.
So it is backed now at 1,006%, I believe. Okay. They've gone past $1 million, and I've ordered my copy, and we're definitely going to be playing that. We'll see what we can do about that, but check that out if you're interested.
Yeah.
Other things that you should check out, that you can check out now, is Castlevania Season 1 on Netflix. Mm-hmm. Did you watch the first season?
I did not. I want to, but
you should. It's 4 episodes, so it's all in all about the length of a movie, I would say, and it's very well done. The animation is fantastic. The humor is there. The way that they show the Belmonts and everything is just a whole lot of fun, and it's actually the city that he goes into. It's more than just vampires versus vampire hunters. Like there's a lot of interesting characters and politics around who's able to fight, when they're able to fight, things like that. And so I found it really excellent anime. And so if you like Castlevania, anime, vampires, or really cool sword fights, definitely check this one out. Now we have confirmed, and this is the actual news in here, is that season 2 is going to be 8 episodes long, and it's coming in October, which is the perfect month for a vampire movie to come out.
Yes, it is. And that's I mean, I think that everyone was disappointed that the first one was 4 episodes and that was it. And I think that honestly, even though it's Castlevania, they weren't sure how well it was going to do. And this type of animation does cost more. So my guess is that was a safe bet. That's why we're seeing 8 now for the next season. So happy about that. Very happy.
Same.
Another thing I'm happy about is that Xbox is concerned with the boot up times on their consoles.
Woohoo!
Because mine, I'm pretty sure I don't know if I actually have it in the power save mode or whatever it is, but it takes a bit to boot up. Also, the actual games, when trying to start those, take a while. And Xbox understands this. They're going to start the fast start feature. Is going to start this. Now, what this is, this starts in the July update for Xbox, which I haven't gotten yet, or maybe I have and I haven't seen it. But what this does is essentially prioritizes the game files that are going to be installing to make sure that the files that install first are ones to actually start playing the game, so it can keep downloading in the background and allow you to at least start and begin it.
And this is something that they've also done on PlayStation since launch. Is it'll download and install the single player campaign data files, whatever, and then run the multiplayer in the background so that you can at least start the game and mess around with it a little bit while it's loading up.
Yeah.
So
which I think is great. And a small bit here, I think, is something that you and I can probably talk about in another topic, because it could go on a long tangent. But in addition to this, he was talking about the startup. I saw an interview with Phil Spencer. He was talking about the startup of the consoles and then being very, saying, "Hey, we're gamers too. We get frustrated at this kind of stuff. You want to just play a game." And in the same interview, he was talking about the reason that they mentioned future Xboxes being the future Xbox and future consoles was because they were seeing people online that were saying that Xbox was going to move on to just PC stuff because it's Microsoft, and they're saying, oh well, they're probably going to finish the console market with the Xbox One X. They're going to just go to PC, sell Microsoft PCs, and not worry about it. And
particularly with the Xbox Anywhere initiative, that was another thing that kind of added fuel to that argument. Because the games that are coming out on Xbox are also on PC. You get a free copy through the Windows Store, and so
essentially, like Phil was saying, we're not stopping in regards to the console. There is going to be a 9th generation console for Xbox. That is something they're working on, which is why they announced it at E3. And they announced it specifically. They're in early development, but the reason they announced it was specifically to get people to and their shareholders as well as people, the average people, to understand, no, Xbox is in here.
Shareholders as well as people.
As average people. I corrected myself. but they wanted to make sure people understood, no, Xbox is in here for consoles. And he didn't straight up say this, but console gamers and PC gamers are different. There's crossover and everything.
Yeah.
But there are gamers who play a lot of what I would consider to be hardcore gamers, but they don't want to. They want the ease of access when it comes to a console. They don't want to deal with a PC. Whitney has beat more games than I have in the past 10 years. I've played more variety of games, but she beats games. She powers through games the way that I don't. And she would be considered by some to be more casual, but she's not going to boot up a PC. So someone who's giving developers money, like Assassin's Creed and Lego and all these other games, and really enjoying them, she's not going to boot up a PC to play it, though, unless it's an MMO and she has to. She wants to play on console. It's relaxing. It's easy. So I think that he understands. No, these are two different markets. It's too soon to pull the plug on the consoles.
Yeah. Yeah. I do intend to play Will of the Wisps on PC because I'm not buying a console for Blind Forest and Will of the Wisps.
Sure. I will say that my Xbox One X I'm enjoying because if a game is on multiple platforms, it is looking better on the Xbox One X, and a lot of them like the developers are literally saying, hey, this is our benchmark, everything else we're scaling down. So if it's a multi-platform game, I'm really liking it on the Xbox One X, but a lot of the games that I'm playing are exclusive only because they're the games that I like. So I see what you mean on that, but if you're playing multi-platform, Xbox One X is where it's at right now.
Yeah, the best experience for a multi-plat game.
Yeah, I would agree. But let us know in the comments what console you prefer, and if you're an Xbox fanboy or a PlayStation fanboy, or if you're like me, who plays both and does not care about people bickering about whatever sports team they like or something.
Switch fanboy, because I love portable stuff. God, I love portable stuff.
Take care, guys.
Thanks for watching This Week in Our Collective Heads. Subscribe over here and click the bell, and that way you'll know about any new videos that we put up, because we put up a lot of gameplay, a lot of stories from games and stuff like that, and gameplay is down here.
Yeah, and you got more editorials and news stuff down here. Check it out.